How many times do I have to tell you? How many times do I have to tell you? The system's not the issue, it's the finishers. And it's something Chelsea fans don't want to accept. Havertz, Werner, Hakim and Pulisic sadly are not the solution at this moment in time, and we need to dive in, and I've got the answers actually. I actually have the answers today to what's going wrong. Welcome to the Kavkas View, and today's video is going to be an insightful one because what happened yesterday was very frustrating. I'm very annoyed. I woke up this morning more vexed than I went to bed yesterday. I went to bed very late because I was so vexed. So you can only imagine how angry I was throughout the whole day. Went to watch the Spider-Man movie, absolutely amazing. I recommend it. But today we've got three main topics that we're going to talk about. Number one, what on earth is going on at Chelsea's forward line? The numbers are pathetic. I actually did a deep dive today into the analytics, into the statistics, and I looked at it, and the numbers are absolutely terrible. They're preposterous. We're going to look into it, understand what the essence of the problem is, and I've actually got proof why Chelsea's system is not the issue. Then, number two, we're going to talk about Saul. What on earth is this transfer policy that we have in the club? Because it's not working, whether it's from the attackers or whether it is to the current crop, it's not working, and we need to discuss it. And what is going to happen with Billy and Connor in January? Are they coming back? I've got an update for that as well. And finally, Julian Laurent comes out with some good news regarding Jules Koundé, and it's exciting. It's one that we should be excited for, and potentially could happen in January. But before we get started, and before this video continues, I need you guys to do something free of charge. Hit the like button, push this video up to 200 likes, and I really appreciate if you could go into the comments below and let me know. Werner, Havertz, Ziyech, Pulisic. Best signing out of the four of them in your eyes. For me, it's been Kai Havertz. Scored the Champions League final goal. He's been actually the only one, in my opinion, that's actually been some sort of productivity on the pitch, and more importantly, some sort of performances to back up this price tag. The rest, they've been Look, from the outset, we need to get this out of the way. This is not agenda-based. I want all these players to be fantastic. I want all these players to shine for Chelsea, because these players shining essentially means Chelsea are shining. Yesterday's performance stank, all right? The performance against Everton was absolutely terrible in the sense of finishing chances. Creating chances, very good. If you look at the XG metric, we had 3.47, yeah, 3.47, yes. And that means, essentially, if you don't understand XG, the positions we were taking shots from, we were expected to score on a normal day with probability 3.47 goals. So 3 goals, we'll say, essentially. We scored 1. What does this tell me? It tells me the finishing is an issue. Is this a one-off occasion? Well, I looked at the Manchester United game, this game, and Burnley. Both other times, Chelsea were in the 3s, and they only scored 1 goal. It's rather alarming, it really is, and I don't understand why. Why the difficulty of our players finishing it and putting it in the back of the net? So I looked at the characteristics of these players. Christian Pulisic, a dribble-first winger. He's got 5 goals in 55. Hakim Ziyech, a trickery creator. He's got 3 goals in 30 Premier League games. Kai Havertz, 6 goals in 41 games. And Timo Werner, the worst one in my opinion, he's got 7 and 40. And now I ask myself the question, they all can't be rubbish players, because all of them aren't bad players. We've seen these players shine in other areas. Pulisic had a decent career at Dortmund. Not as great as everyone makes it sound, but he was decent. Hakim Ziyech had a very good tenure at Ajax. Not world class, but a very good player. Kai Havertz, the reason he was signed was, in my opinion, due to the numbers he currently possessed at such a young age in the Bundesliga. Timo Werner was one of the most fierce strikers in the whole of Europe. Yet, they come to Chelsea and they can't finish. The chances are there, the moments are there. A lot of people are going to say, look, a lot of them, their career is stop-start at Chelsea. They're in the team, they're out the team, they're in the team, they're out the team. But I don't think that's the issue, because when they do get an opportunity to get a consistent run of form, none of them take it, statistically. With Kai Havertz, you get the occasional runs of performances where he's linking up the play, he gives us fluidity, and I think he possesses something out of the 3 that would in the long term benefit Chelsea. But Chelsea have went and opted to sign another player. And for me, this is where the issue lies. The issue lies in recruitment, because I look at these 4 players and then I add Romelu Lukaku to what style are we meant to be playing? Pulisic is a dribble-first winger who wants to be in tight spaces, picking up the ball, drifting in and out of players, and popping it off and getting it back. We don't play that kind of style. Then you have Hakim Ziyech, who wants to be in a methodical team where he's going to have high touches on the ball, and he's going to try high elemental stuff where he needs space in behind for runners. We don't have the striker that's going to do that, because in the Premier League, you don't have deep blocks. You have deep blocks and you don't have high lines against you on a weekly basis. Kai Havertz, he's a false nine. You go inside Romelu Lukaku. Timo Werner, he plays with a second striker. When we first signed him, he got put on the left wing. Makes no sense. This is a recruitment issue. This is a lack of ideology, a lack of philosophy of where we want to go as a club. And when we chop and change managers, players come in that are systemic assets rather than top comfortable football. They're not comfortable footballers on the ball that would play in a Pep Guardiola side, that would play in a Maurizio Sarri side. They're players that would do a job in a system. Marcos Alonso, a left wing back, not a left back, can't play in a back four, can only play in a five at the back. Antonio Rudiger, a left centre back, he cannot play in a back four, that on the evidence that we have seen so far. So the issue here clearly lies with the players that we're signing are just incorrect profile. We should be going for wingers. João Felix, a goal-scoring cam. His numbers were very good at Benfica before he moved to Atletico and played that negative ball. Chiesa, an attack-minded winger. Players that are going to take the next step soon and become consistent. Kai Havertz was one of those players that we went for. He's the only one I understood. The other three make no sense. I understand they're not going to score goals on a regular basis, but we need to actually embrace them to score some goals, because these numbers here that I said earlier are pathetic. Let me continue, because I think when you actually go on to this now, Saul's signing epitomizes for me what is wrong with Chelsea's transfer policy. Saul should never have been at Chelsea. Saul should have never have been signed at Chelsea, because it's evident that Ruben Loftus-Cheek is better than Saul. It's evident by the way Thomas Tuchel speaks about Ruben and the way he speaks about Saul. We had all the injuries in the world, a player that's on £220,000 a week on loan with an option to buy stayed on the bench for Ruben to play. Yet, we have two players that are fully able and would have assisted this year on loan in the centre midfield. Conor Gallagher and Billy Gilmour. Gilmour was fantastic last year. Why did he go on loan to Norwich? He's balling out at Norwich. He's actually playing consistent football now. He's broken into their side. He's a sample of their team. Conor Gallagher, one of the players of the season at the moment. He's been phenomenal. Yet, Saul can't get on the bench. Saul started 4 games this year in the Premier League. Saul has not played more than 45 minutes in any of these games. Let that sink in. 3 starts, 2 hooked at half time. Absolutely nightmare. The way this player plays is absolutely beyond compare. He's not good enough. And the good news is we're not going to call back Conor and Billy. And the reason I say it's good news is because I want them to get a year's worth of experience. I think they need to play regular football at this moment in time. If Chelsea call them back now, once NG, Jorginho and Kova are fit, they're coming back into this team. These lot of ball bench warming for the remainder of the season. They've played too many games for us to activate the release clause. But they're not going to come back. Saul, he's stuck at Chelsea for the end of the season, but we will not be activating that option. Finally, the last story is actually a promising one, and I think it's one that holds a lot of truth in it. Julian Laurent is one of my favorite journalists. I read a lot of his articles, I listen to his podcast, and I think he's just a phenomenal man and possesses a lot of knowledge when it comes to football. Very charismatic, he's very easy to listen to, and you respect him because I feel like he doesn't have agendas when he talks about individuals. For me, this story makes sense. Chelsea have agreed a 4 to 5 year deal with Jules Koundé and his camp. The deal is basically done. Only thing left is to agree a fee with Sevilla. I believe that wholeheartedly. Jules Koundé has been flirting with Chelsea, following Chelsea players on Instagram. He's been moaning, he spoke out about how upset he was about not joining Chelsea. And this is coming from a tier 1 journalist who's French, who knows a lot of French players. This adds up and ties in that Jules Koundé would be there. This news has come out because Chelsea want this news out there. The rumours are that Sevilla are happy to bring down the valuation to 40 to 50 million pounds, where it was before, where they agreed the fee instead of the 70 million pounds that they wanted to get at the end of the transfer. Does this mean this deal is going to happen? I don't know. But I think this is a good indication that Chelsea are still interested in this young profile of player. I think if he comes in, it's the end of Antonio Rudiger. I think Jules Koundé will be playing for Chelsea. Then Rudiger's not going to be. It means Azpilicueta potentially could move on. It also could mean that there's a little stagnation with the Christensen deal, because this is an awful lot of money to throw on an individual if you're going to re-sign all 3 of those. I believe Thiago Silva stays. Out of the other 3, 2 go, 1 stays, and then Koundé comes in. All of a sudden next year we will have Chalobah, Thiago, Koundé, Colwell, I like that. I really do. It excites me. I think there's a lot of ball playing ability there, good leadership capabilities, young profile sprinkled in. It would put Chelsea in a good position. For me, this has been a very, very interesting story to be released by Julian Laurent, and I want to hear your opinions on it. Tomorrow, I'll make another video, guys, previewing the game against Wolves unless it gets cancelled. There's some good news on Ben Chilwell that you will want to hear. There is fantastic news on Kai Havertz. He's not ill. He is still in contention. We will talk about how important that is. And finally, we will talk about the build-up and what we will need to do against Wolves to get the 3 points and get our season back underway. Because from now till the end of the season, it's a tight race and we don't want to get into a top 4 race. We still want to be in this league title race. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you out. Peace out.